I had just touched down in Tokyo a few days earlier, and everything still felt surreal. The vibrant city, the orderly chaos, the unfamiliar language. After a whirlwind of sightseeing, I decided to take it easy and relax by the hotel pool. That's where I first met Tatsuya and Hiro. They were lounging by the water, laughing and chatting in Japanese before switching effortlessly to English when they noticed me. "You're here alone?" Tatsuya asked, leaning back in his chair, his eyes hidden behind designer sunglasses. "First time in Japan?" There was something disarming about his easy confidence, and Hiro, with his boyish grin and enthusiastic nods, seemed eager to please. They weren't the typical tourists I'd been bumping into all week. They were locals, sharp-dressed and charismatic, promising a glimpse into a side of Tokyo I'd never find on my own. "We're just hanging out tonight," Hiro added, gesturing to the bustling cityscape beyond the hotel walls. "Why don't you join us? We'll show you a good time." Maybe it was the loneliness of traveling alone, or maybe it was their effortless charm, but I found myself agreeing, my apprehensions melting away under the weight of their friendly smiles. We grabbed a few beers at the pool bar, swapping stories about our lives. They were curious about my job back home, the places I'd been, the things I wanted to see in Japan. They felt like instant friends, the kind you meet on the road and connect with effortlessly. I remember thinking how lucky I was to have found such great company in a foreign city. When they suggested we go to a hostess club later that evening, I hesitated only for a second. I'd heard the warnings, but Tatsuya brushed them aside with a laugh. "We know a place that's legit. No scams, no crazy bills. You'll have a great time." The club was hidden away in a narrow alley in Shinjuku, the kind of place you wouldn't notice unless someone led you there. From the outside, it looked nondescript, but inside, it was like stepping into another world. The lighting was low and warm, the walls lined with plush velvet. A soft, hypnotic beat pulsed in the background. Hostesses in glittering dresses greeted us at the entrance, their smiles as dazzling as the chandeliers above. We were led to a private table, and that's when Ayumi appeared. She was stunning, with a kind of effortless grace that made it hard to look away. Her laugh was soft, her eyes bright with interest as she leaned close, asking me about my travels, my life, my dreams. Every word she spoke felt like a secret meant just for me. The rest of the club faded away. It was just the two of us, sharing stories and laughter as if we were old friends. It was intoxicating. I felt like I was in a movie, the leading man in some glamorous exotic adventure. I didn't notice the drinks piling up on the table, didn't think twice when Ayumi suggested another bottle of champagne. "It's my favorite," she said, her voice a whisper. "I'd love to share it with you." Her hand brushed mine, and I felt a thrill, a rush of excitement, and something else, something dangerous and unfamiliar, but irresistible. Time seemed to slip away. Tatsuya and Hiro drifted in and out of our conversation, laughing and joking, ordering more drinks. They felt like brothers, encouraging me to relax, to enjoy myself. I let my guard down completely, swept up in the moment, the atmosphere, the connection I thought I was making. But then, things started to shift. "Sir, your bill." The waiter's voice cut through the haze like a knife. I blinked, trying to focus on the black folder he placed in front of me. My heart raced as I opened it, the numbers blurring together. 980,000 yen. It felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. I tried to speak, but my mouth was dry. "This can't be right," I managed, my voice cracking. "I didn't order all this." Ayumi's expression was unreadable, her eyes no longer warm, but cool, almost detached. "You did," she said softly. "You asked me to stay longer. You ordered the champagne." Her tone was gentle, as if she were explaining something obvious to a child. I didn't understand," I stammered, looking around for Tatsuya and Hiro, but they were gone, vanished like ghosts. The waiter's smile had vanished too, replaced by a cold, almost cruel indifference. "You agreed to it, sir," he said, his voice flat. "Now, you have to pay." I felt a surge of panic, like a trapped animal. "No," I said, trying to sound firm. "I didn't agree to this. There must be a mistake." But then the bouncers appeared, two hulking figures looming over me, their presence a silent threat. I felt a bead of sweat trickle down my back. The club had become a cage, the warm, inviting atmosphere twisting into something dark and menacing. "You pay, or we call the police," the waiter said, his voice hard. "Foreigners causing trouble. It won't end well for you." My hands were shaking. I couldn't think. All I saw were those cold, unblinking eyes, felt the oppressive weight of the bouncer's presence. I thought about being arrested in a foreign country. My parents' faces, if they heard I was in jail halfway across the world. I looked down at the folder again. 1,000,000 yen. More than I'd ever spent in one night. More than I could afford. But what choice did I have? With a trembling hand, I reached for my wallet, my heart pounding in my ears as I handed over my credit card. It felt like signing away a piece of my soul. In that moment, I felt utterly alone, a fool stripped bare in the heart of a foreign city. The waiter swiped my card without a word. I watched as the screen flashed approved, and it felt like the final nail in the coffin. I stumbled out of the club, my legs like jelly, my mind spinning. The bright neon lights of Shinjuku seemed harsh, mocking. I felt betrayed, not just by Tatsuya and Hiro, but by myself. How could I have been so stupid? How had I let this happen? Back at the hotel, I collapsed on the bed, staring at the ceiling. I felt numb, like I was watching my life from a distance. The faces of Tatsuya, Hiro, and Ayumi swirled in my mind, their smiles now sinister, every word they'd said twisted into a web of lies. I thought I'd found friends, a connection, but I was just another mark, another tourist, duped by the promise of something special. The next morning, I reported the incident to the hotel concierge, hoping for some sort of resolution. His expression was resigned as he listened, shaking his head. "You're not the first," he said quietly. "That club is known for this. They lure in foreigners, make them feel welcome, then hit them with huge bills. There's not much the police can do. It's not technically illegal, just immoral." My heart sank. I realized then that I'd been caught in a carefully crafted trap, every smile, every gesture part of the con. They knew exactly what they were doing, how to make me feel comfortable, how to push me just far enough to get what they wanted. It was a hard lesson, but one I'll never forget. As I left Japan, the experience hung over me like a dark cloud. The thrill of the trip, the beauty of the country, had been tainted by that one night's mistake, but I refused to let it define my memories of Japan or of myself. If you're traveling, stay vigilant. Trust your instincts. Don't let loneliness or the desire for adventure cloud your judgment. There are wonderful people out there, but there are also those who will exploit your trust for their gain. Whenever I think back to that night, I feel a mix of shame and anger at Tatsuya, Hiro, and Ayumi, but mostly at myself. I remind myself that sometimes the most dangerous predators aren't hiding in the shadows. They're the ones who make you feel seen, special, like you belong.